All right, ladies and gentlemen, what you see before you is a rare opportunity to own the original first Sand Pounders Mini Mack Volkswagen Dune Buggy. This was actually built and owned by Rick Murphy of Sand Pounders, which was started in Illinois in the early to mid 60s. This is not a Myers-Manx or a Myers-Manx clone or a Berrien Mini T-Bucket or an Allison or a Glitter Bug or any type of El Lobo or Lido or Bounty Hunter or Deserter. This is the original Sand Pounders Mini Mack by Rick Murphy. It is called the Iron Mistress. There was only a handful of these cars built. He also invented the Tyron Viper and Viper 2, the three-wheel trike, in the late 80s, early 90s. But this was his personal car. It is now mine, and it is going up right now on eBay for no reserve. It will start off at $1 single and sell to the highest bidder for no reserve. So don't miss your opportunity to own this one-of-a-kind, fantastic, very few produced Mini Mack Iron Mistress Dune Buggy by Sand Pounders. To start, this is titled as a 1965 Volkswagen Bug. It utilizes the 1965 Volkswagen Bug frame. It actually has the VIN number right in the back over the shifting tunnel. Back here, there is a VIN number, and there is a secondary VIN right there, so you don't have to pull up the carpet, but it matches the title, the registration, so it's very, very easy to insure, register, just titled as a 1965 Volkswagen. Insurance is very, very inexpensive. And the great thing about this utilizes the original 40-year-old green metal flake. This is all original, the same that the car was actually built in the early to late 60s. It has a couple little small blemishes, but I mean, that's expected, you know, with a 50-year-old vehicle. But this is a very, very cool piece of automobile history for any type of Volkswagen enthusiast, whether you be a bug collector, a Beetle, whether you're a Ghia or a bus or a Volkswagen Dune Buggy. Like I said, there's tons and tons of Volkswagen Dune Buggies out there with the Myers-Manx. A lot of people think that they have the original when they're just clones, but this was made to compete with them, and it's a very, very cool, awesome little buggy. Tons of great little features. As you can see in the previous pictures, there is a removable hardtop with glass, and it actually has folding canvas windows like a Jeep, so you can take those off for the summertime. I'm 6'2.5", almost 6'3". I fit in the car extremely well. It can be a little bit difficult if you are taller or bigger like me with the top on, but it can be done. You may be asking yourself, well, what are these wires right here? Well, these wires right here go into the integrated turn signals on the top into the mirror. On the hard top, which is removable, there is a driver's and passenger mirror that has integrated turn signals into the mirrors, so that way you can kind of see when you have the top on, and then you have your rear view mirror. It has working headlights, tail lights, brake lights, all that stuff, which I will touch on, and then all LED lights and turn signals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fire up the car right here. It does have an electronic fuel pump. Car fires right up. I'll go ahead and turn on the headlights here for you, so you can see the headlights and the dash lights. There's your headlights. So this one right here is the bulb. This bulb right is out for the parking light, but I do have the bulb. Just haven't gotten around to replacing it. Here's a bulb right here. And then you have your LED parking lights. The only other one that is out is this one right here, which they're about 13, 14 bucks. Off of Amazon. License plate light, tail lights, LED lights. You have another switch for lights right down here, which I will turn on. Turn these on. Second set of lights. And then you have high beams as well, so let me hop in the car and I will show you that there is the high beam lights as well. So you just indicator. There's your high beams. High beams are off, on, as you can see, and then off. And then I'll go ahead and show you the turn signals. So you do have LED integrated turn signals, front and rear, and then as well as in the mirrors. LED turn signals. LED turn signals in the tail lights, brake lights, and then into the rear bumper. Again, right turn signal into the front bumper. LED turn signals. LED turn signals. And then LED turn signals. You also have your horn right here. There's your horn. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the car. Turn off all the lights. You have your Grant GT steering wheel. And then down below here, which is kind of cool, you have cockpit lights, or I guess you can call them dash lights underneath. So I'll turn those on. So you got some LED lights right there for your cockpit. Very rare Hertz style MP shifter with the shifter column with the gear indicators right there. I have never ever seen one of those before on a Volkswagen, and actually has the VW marking right there. That is very, very rare, kind of like a Hurst or a Junebird. I have owned plenty of buggies and Sanrails and Volkswagens. I have never ever seen that anywhere. And the other thing about this, you have full carpet down below, and then you have your seat belts, and then for your passenger you have a sliding Corvette leather seat which slides forward or rearward. And then the cool thing that's really trick about this one, again on the driver's side, this is a 6-way power adjustable, as you can see right there. 6-way power bolster, forward, rearward, Corvette seat, fully adjustable for any driver. Very, very good condition. And then you can actually just put these forward here, just like this. You can get to the VIN number back there, and then pull this one forward. And then right here is your storage compartment. So this utilizes the same key right there, and it locks and unlocks. And then here is a storage for any type of things that you may have, your detail kit, you know, if you wanted to put any type of tool kit, any type of throttle cable. You can put your mounts here for the hardtop. Those are the 2 rear bolts for the hardtop and 2 front bolts. Comes on very, very, very easily. This is secured, it locks, so you don't have to worry about theft. You can put like any type of registration in there, anything that you want to put in there for your tools. Like I said, you can put any type of upgraded stereo system or speakers. And then speaking of which, this does have a audio system, but there are no speakers hooked up, and this is obviously a Blotta Punk from probably the late 70s, early 80s with a Blotta Punk amp right there. So my suggestion would be to probably either change it to a CD player, or maybe like a iPod or iPad, or even a little Nano. You know, you can get MP3 players, you know, hook up your speakers, put your speakers back there or down there in the footwells if you wanted speakers. I kind of like the sound of the motor. Full instrument gauge cluster. Your clock doesn't work, but these are all video gauges. Your tachometer. You actually have water temperature. If you wanted to do basically, you can change that to water temperature, but you can actually change it to oil temperature if you wanted to get the dipstick, or water temperature if you wanted to put in a water-cooled motor, which I will touch on. So it has the 1965 front end of a Volkswagen, which is a Kingpin front end, and then it utilizes 1972 IRS independent rear suspension, and then it has a upgraded ring and pinion, which is the 411 with the freeway flyer for the taller 4th gear for cruising down the freeways. And then this is just a cover right here, which I will touch on. This comes off, and then this will actually just lift up here, and you have all your mounts and everything to secure the back little top, which this comes off here. And there's one here, one here, one here. And then this just opens up like this. And then here is the bad boy. I will touch on the motor in just 1 second, but continuing on to the transaxle, taller 4th gear for the freeway flyer. Has a beefed up super diff with left and right heavy duty side covers. And then the motor here was actually built by Dan Lawson out of Competition Engineering. One of the best in the business, if not the best in the business. People from all over bring their cars here to get them restored, and motors done by Dan Lawson out of Competition Engineering. This is a 2180cc stroker motor, utilizes one-piece rods, roller bearing crank, has dual port heads, which are upgraded, dual barrel Weber 40 carburetor, and a stock cam. This thing is quick, it's no joke. This isn't your little wimpy Volkswagen 1500 single port or 1600cc dual port. Utilizes an electronic fuel pump, as I told you before. The CE right here is Competition Engineering for the fuel plate block off. I'll touch on a couple other things. Bosch 009 distributor, and then here are your heater tubes. Right, you can see right here going for the heater, because you can use the heater underneath the back seats, which goes right over here to get heat. So there's your levers, and then there's 2 little holes that come through the back, which you can see right here for heat down below. So in the wintertime, very, very nice. But yeah, going back to the motor, all your wiring. So your Weber carburetor, you can actually put a turbo on this thing. Very, very fast. Electronic fuel pump. Here is your fuel filter, your upgraded doghouse style air cooler, oil cooler back there, your fan shroud, like I said, dual port upgraded heads, clip-on style valve covers. Those are the ones that you want. You don't want the bolt-on ones. And then you have your exhaust wrap to keep the heat down. And then right back here you have your coil, and then your remote oil filter, which is a spin-on. And then if you look kind of down here, you can kind of see right here is the oil drain plug right there. So you have about almost 3 quarts of oil, and then there is the CE Competition Engineering for the full flow right there, for the full flow oil system. And then, you know, you have also the upgraded, which I will see if I can show you right there, is the CE Competition alternator pulley. And then down below, let's see if I can get on that one. That is right at the very bottom corner. You can see right here where I put my finger, that is the sand sealed timing pulley right there to adjust your timing from Competition Engineering. So it has a lot of good stuff, all built by Dan Lawson of Competition Engineering. These things are bulletproof. And then the final top off is the oil filler right here, Competition Engineering. So you can call Dan at Competition Engineering. 2180 full stroker motor. You can actually put on a turbo on these things. If you can find the original Judson superchargers, those are very, very rare. It doesn't need one, but you can put one on. There are your sway away U-joints right there on the transaxle, and then your sway away shocks down below, which are adjustable. So the good thing about this now, Volkswagen, is 4 bolts. Very, very easy to work on. If you wanted to pull the motor and put in something that would be either water cooled or fuel injection, well, you can leave the motor and do a fuel injection kit from CD Performance, or you can pull these things out. They're 4 bolts under your 2 starter bolts, and then there's 2 bolts right here under your battery and your throttle cable. You have plenty of room back here, and you can put anything you want back there. The hot setup right now that people are doing is you can do a Chevy Ecotec, a little 2.2 liter out of a Chevy Malibu or a Saturn Sky or a Pontiac Solstice or the Chevy Cobalt. Those came factory with superchargers and turbos. They actually have 2.4s and 2.5 liters. They used the 2.4s in the 3-wheeled auto cycle by Polaris Slingshot, so you can swap an Ecotec. Just put your radiator back here, which will cost you, you know, probably around 100, 150 bucks. You can get a radiator off of eBay. And then in the back, you do need your adapter plate for your transmission, or your transaxle, which is from Kennedy Clutch, and they make adapters for literally any type of motor that you want. They run about 400, 450 bucks. You can put a 300ZX, you can put a Ford Pinto, the Chevy Ecotec, you can put 4-cylinder Hondas, you can put V6 Acuras or Hondas, you know, a little 3.2 liter Acura J32 Type S, or the J35 Type S, you know, 300 horsepower with forged internals. Those things are wicked fast. A little V6 Honda 3.5 liter, you know, have 300 horsepower in those things. Those things fly. You can do the GSR motors out of the Honda, little B16, B20s, or the K20s, you know, have 200 horsepower. But this thing's built for reliability. Super, super easy to work on. Anything you need that you can do. All your parts are readily available. AutoZone, Checker, O'Reilly's. You can go to, what else? I guess America's Parts Authority, BAP. Anything you need, you can order parts off of Amazon. Back here are your vents right here to keep the air-cooled motor completely cool. And then this just securely closes with little snap-on covers right there. But it's a very, very clean car that is going up for no reserve, and it will sell to the highest bidder. So you don't want to wait until the last minute, because you'll probably get outbid. The car runs like an absolute top. Has the mini Mack front grille here, kind of like the Mack pickup trucks and the fire trucks with the Mack dog. 67, 68 Dodge Charger fuel cap, which is really, really cool. You know, this thing turns heads, and the great thing about this, folks, is you can tow this car for 100, 150,000 miles behind your pickup truck, behind your RV, even behind your little passenger car. If your wife has a Honda or a Toyota Camry or a Toyota Prius or a Honda Civic, you can actually just utilize the front end right here, utilizes a Volkswagen tow bar, which you can pick up on Craigslist for about 50, 60 bucks. You can buy them new for about 90. It just bolts right on. You throw this thing in neutral. You don't need a trailer. And even if your wife or your daughter or your son has a little passenger car with any type of receiver hitch, even if it's a little bike receiver hitch, there's no tongue weight. Like I said, you can tow this thing, go to a Home Depot or Harbor Freight, get your clip-on magnetic tail light kit, and you can tow this behind, like I said, your RV. You don't need a trailer. If you wanted to do something where you couldn't find a tow bar, which you can find them anywhere at any type of swap meets, you can use a universal tow bar from Harbor Freight, run you about 75 bucks, 80 bucks. Just bolts onto the bumper, and you can use those for Jeeps and whatever. But it's very, very cool. This is a great car to teach, you know, your wife how to drive stick shift if she's never driven, or your son or your daughter. A lot of cars these days are automatics. They're not manual transmissions. If you have grandkids, teach your grandkids how to drive manual. Like I said, the seat's fully adjustable. It will accommodate any driver. I mean, probably about 6'6" height-wise is about the max you're going to get in there with the top on, unless, you know, you're probably like 7 feet tall and you want to look over the window. But it's a very, very nice car. Gel coat, or the metal flake, is very, very good condition for its age. It draws attention everywhere it goes. If you saw the videos, the car stops on a dime. It has very, very great brakes, probably one of the best braking systems I've ever had in any type of buggy, and it scoots. This is no little wimpy little Volkswagen. I mean, the car probably weighs 900 pounds, and it's fast with that 2180. That's a full stroker motor. You can look those up. It utilizes 82 millimeter crank by 92 millimeter pistons, and you can do all sorts of things to those motors. Like I said, you can put on turbos, which you don't need to. It's plenty fast. I mean, this thing will cruise on the freeway, no problem. If you want to put a stereo in there, you know, you can put a stereo. Great tires. So it's going to sell, no reserve, auction to the highest bidder. If you have any questions, you want to see it, please feel free to email me. You can come by and take a drive, hop on the freeway over here. I live really close to the freeways. You can take it for a spin. There's no rust, and it has plenty of goodies, and it is a no reserve auction. If you have any questions, you are more than welcome to reach out to me, but don't wait until the last minute, because you will get outbid and miss your opportunity to own this once in a lifetime piece of nostalgic VW history. These are getting harder and harder to come by. Thank you and good luck.